Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. My name is Alison, certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with busy professional women who are frustrated, annoyed, overwhelmed, discouraged with dating, and I move them from that to healthy and happy marriages. The way that I do that is through my coaching programs, through my master classes, and my next master class is going to be on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll make sure that I put the links and all that kind of good stuff in the description and in the comments so that you guys can join us, so that you can transform your love life, so that you can stop living feeling alone, feeling unappreciated, feeling like you have a lack of support, and you can finally have that partnership, that marriage, that love, that family that you desire and that you deserve. So let's get into today's topic, tonight's topic. I normally do not live stream this late at all, but it's been an extremely hectic day. Yesterday I had a live event, and then we have guests who are staying by. So this is literally the earliest and best time that I could come on and do this live training for you so that you are better prepared for the Dating 101 Masterclass that will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is a whopping $57, and you are going to be investing an hour and a half of your life with me so that I can get you all the way together to teach you the skills, learning how to navigate dating successfully, both online and offline in 2024. Okay. So today's topic is vetting. We are talking about how do you vet appropriately. A lot of people think that it's just some questions that you ask, but there is so much more strategy. There's so much more skill behind the questions that you ask, how to ask them, when to ask them, than it is just spitting some stuff at some people. So first, let's talk about what's problematic about not having a strategy. When you do not have a vetting strategy, when you are not using discernment immediately before you even get on anybody's apps, before you even go outside, if you are not using a strategy, this is problematic for you, and this is why. Number one, you may be clunky or awkward in your conversation and in your approach, which is not a true representation who you are. You might be feeling uncomfortable, and when you feel uncomfortable, it comes across that way. And so now people are also feeling uncomfortable. The gentleman that you're speaking to, they don't know how to answer. They don't know what your intention is. It throws off the whole mojo. And then now you might not even be able to move from a dating app to a phone call. You might not be able to move from the phone call to the date because you're asking questions in an awkward way. It makes it uncomfortable. You don't seem comfortable, and it throws off all of the mojo. Okay. The second reason why not having a strategy in your vetting, not having a strategy in your discernment is problematic is because then it doesn't make dating fun anymore. It doesn't make dating fun anymore. How can dating be fun if you set it up like a job interview? So instead, what we need is a strategy. I'm going to teach you the strategy right now around vetting specifically, but overall, learning all of the ins and outs in regards to online and offline dating. You need to be in the Dating 101 Masterclass on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now. And as I said before, I'll make sure it's in the description, and I will make sure that it is in the comments. You're going to invest an hour and a half with me on Tuesday so you can learn the skills you need to learn to navigate dating successfully. But again, for today, specifically for tonight, vetting. So now we're clear on why not having a strategy is a problem. You're coming across uncomfortably. You're not likely to get honest responses from people if you are not prepared and you're not strategic. You're coming off as an unnatural version of you, and you want to be the best version of you, not an awkward version of you, as well as you're making it a job interview when it doesn't need to be. It should be fun. Those are all the reasons why you need to have a specific vetting strategy, a discernment strategy. Now, let's create that strategy on this training together. Number one, you need to be clear on exactly what you're looking for in a partner and a partnership. I'll say it again. You need to be absolutely clear on what you're looking for in a partner and a partnership. Those are two different things. A partner is the man. It's the person. How do they function in the world with or without you? It's their character, it's their values, their morals, their traits, who they are as an individual. You need to be clear on what your requirements are for the type of man, the type of person that you will be dating and that you desire to be with. And again, to move from frustrated, annoyed, overwhelmed, discouraged with dating, to healthily, I think I made up the word healthily, but I'm gonna keep saying anyway, healthily and happily married, right? So you need to be clear on the man, on the person. How do they function in the world? Not romantically, in the world. Who are they as a human being? Then you need to be clear on how you want that person to function with you in a romantic relationship. So again, being clear on the partner and then being clear on the partnership. So what does that look like? Being clear on the partner is behaviors, traits, morals, values. So some of my non-negotiables, and feel free to use your own. Everyone should create their own non-negotiables because it's going to be in alignment with your goals, with your values, with your culture. I'm just giving an example just so I can paint a picture. So some of my non-negotiables were for my husband before we were married. I actually wrote my list in 2012, and then my husband and I started dating in 2018 and got married in 2020. I want to say that's right. Something like that. Very close to that. All right. So some non-negotiables: hardworking, super important to me. Does not have to be one for you. I'm painting a picture. Affectionate. At the time when I wrote it in 2012, I put must have a backbone, which what I really meant was healthy masculine energy, leadership capabilities, right? I need someone who can stand up and will stand up for me and my family. So those are just some examples of my non-negotiables. That's the man. With or without me, he is hardworking. With or without me, he is family oriented. With or without me, he is affectionate. With or without me, he has positive, healthy, masculine energy. Nothing to do with me. This is the man, which is now Andrew, right? My husband. This is how he functions in the world, no matter who he's dating or seeing at any given time. Okay. Then the other side of the coin is going to be how he and I are going to function in a relationship together. Okay. In a relationship together. So that means what is the fruit, or what are the fruit? Because fruit is plural. What are the fruit, whatever that is, that the relationship is going to bear? That is how he and I are going to function in the relationship. So again, I need clarity on the man. I need clarity on the partnership. What do I want to come out of this relationship? I want to create a nuclear family where our children feel healthy, happy, and safe. I want to create a safe space where my husband and I can show up as our authentic selves. I want to create generational wealth so that my children don't have to get it out the mud. Notice I didn't say he has to, he has to, he has to. We will. That's a relationship. How two people relate to each other, what they are able to create with each other. So I have my non-negotiables, the man, and then I have the partnership, what we're going to do, what we're going to accomplish together. What is our relationship going to look like together? For those who are coming in, thank you for joining. My name is Alison, certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with busy professional women to move them from frustrated, annoyed, discouraged with dating onto healthy and happy relationships. I have over 250 clients who are in happy, committed relationships, engaged, married, first-time moms, because they joined my coaching programs, they joined my master programs, they did the work, they invested in themselves, and I need you to do the same thing. I need you to be with me on February the 13th. That's a Tuesday. It's coming up, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Dating 101 Masterclass, where I'm going to teach all of the tools necessary to navigate dating both online and offline, all of the tools. So you can click the link that's in the chat right now. I'm going to put it in the description. I'm going to put it in the caption so that you can join me. You're investing an hour and a half of your life. You are investing $57 US to change the trajectory of your love life, to finally have the companionship that you desire, to finally have the support system that you deserve, to finally finish the picture of the family that you always dreamed of, to transform your life. So make sure you click the links wherever they may be and join us on Tuesday live for the Dating 101 challenge, Dating 101 training. So now let's get into this vetting. So once we're clear on the man and then we're clear on the relationship, now we know what questions we need to ask, because you're not going to know what questions to ask if you don't know what you're looking for, right? If I go into a supermarket and I know I'm looking for chickpeas, I can ask the person who works at the supermarket, where are the chickpeas? If I don't know what kind of peas I'm looking for, what am I going to ask the man that works at the supermarket? I have to be clear on what I'm looking for in order to ask the right questions. Make sense? Good, good. So now we need to come up with those questions. So what I recommend that you do, literally on a piece of paper with a pen is you write down those non-negotiables, the man, the behavior, the traits, the values that are a must for you. I recommend no more than 6. Why? I want it to be tight. I want it to be specific. I want it to be clear. I want it to be targeted. And if I told y'all could write 30, you'd write 30. If I told you could have 50, you'd write 50. And it would never end, and you'd be creating an unrealistic avatar of a man. 6, you keep it tight, you keep it specific. And then that also helps you, because when you start, if you start doubting, am I asking for too much? Am I doing too much? Am I being unrealistic? How could you be being unrealistic? You're only asking for 6 things. If you ask him for 30 things, you really start doubting yourself. You start giving in. You start giving up. We keep it tight. 6 things. You take your paper, you take your pen, you write it down. And then for each one, you are going to write down what kinds of questions could I ask in order to get an honest response, or in order for me to assist or assess whether or not the person has those things. So let me give you an example. Hardworking. I have a West Indian lineage. My family's from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I've grown up in Brooklyn. That's practically the Caribbean all over again, right? So one of my core values as a West Indian woman is hard work. So what does that mean? I am going to be looking for a man who is hardworking. I don't care if he comes from money. The conversation needs to be, eventually, when it's appropriate, how are we taking that money and flipping it and making it more? How are we investing it? What business are we going to start, right? So that's a value of mine. So I'm going to write down hardworking on a piece of paper, and then I'm literally going to write down the questions that I should ask to assess if someone is hardworking. What would I ask to figure out somebody's hardworking? I would ask the following questions. I would ask, where do you work? Do you enjoy your work? Do you see yourself doing other things other than this? Is there room for growth? What about retirement? Do you have a vision of retiring from there and doing something else? In an ideal world, what would you be doing for a living? Right? And if he says nothing, that's not a good answer for me. Doesn't mean it's not a good answer for you. Some of y'all will be good. You hit the lotto, you're good to go, right? No, I love work. I find fulfillment in work. So even if I was a multi-millionaire, I would have some kind of business that I'm starting up or on autopilot and reinvesting and buying property, right? So again, I'm taking each non-negotiable, I'm breaking down questions that I should ask in order to assess whether or not that person has that thing, has that value, is fulfilling what I know is a must in order for me to be happy in that relationship. Okay, so you have 6 of those. If any of you have any non-negotiables right now who's present in the live, go ahead and put it in the chat, and I can generate some questions for you to assist you. But again, if you want to get all of the tools, you need to join me for the Dating 101 Masterclass. That's on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. All you have to do is invest an hour and a half of your life with me. It will be recorded just in case you can't make it, and $57. It's a joke to transform your love life for the rest of your life. Okay. So if you know your non-negotiables, drop 1 in the chat and I could generate some questions for you. So we have our non-negotiables. We have an idea of the questions we should be asking to go with each non-negotiable. Now, you are not creating an interview environment for these gentlemen, for these people that you're going out on dates with. That is not fun. So a lot of times I hear women say that dating isn't fun. We are the ones many times that are not making it fun. Number one, by not doing vetting over the phone first. You cannot rush this thing. You should have a few phone calls, 3, 4 phone calls before you dress yourself up. Take time out of your day, get childcare if necessary, leave work half day to go get your hair done, go wash your car, whatever the things that you do, buy a new pair of shoes. Whatever it is that you do, you should not be doing those things, investing time, money, effort, or energy unless you are on the phone a good 3, 4 times. Why? Because you're going to begin to ask these questions in advance. If this gentleman doesn't match your non-negotiables, why go out on the date? Why waste your time? Why waste his time? Why waste his money? Why waste your money? It doesn't make sense, right? So you don't want to rush this thing. So if you vet appropriately, it would save you from a lot of whack, terrible dates. That way, before you even go on the date, you have some idea. Number one, you already know that you find him attractive. And then number two, he seems like a nice guy. Worst case scenario, you're not a good match for each other, but at minimum, you cannot deny that your dating experience was fun. You went to a place that you like. You met with a gentleman who was handsome and who was nice. And even if things didn't work out, at least you had a good time. So that's going to make sure that you have a good time. Number two, for you, you're going to begin your vetting by asking these questions 1 non-negotiable at a time. Everything else is going to be lighthearted. Everything else is going to be jokes. Everything else is going to be pop culture. You're not overwhelming people with a ton of questions. Boom, 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 boom. And don't allow them to do you like that either. So today's conversation, I'm going to tackle non-negotiable number 3, which is hardworking. Everything else that I talk about in this conversation over the phone, that'll be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, depending on how well we're flowing, right? Everything else is going to be lighthearted. We have the Super Bowl that's tomorrow, the All-Star game that's next week, the Kobe statue that was erected recently. We have the Grammys. We have whatever's going on locally, right? Some show, some event. We're excited about Usher, whatever that might be looking like. You're talking about lighthearted, easy, comedic, what you're watching on Netflix, light stuff. Because again, if we want this to be a fun experience, we have to do some vetting, start having these conversations before you physically go out so that you're not wasting time talking to people who are an absolutely wrong match. And then number 2, which we're going to get to in the Dating 101 Masterclass, is around steering to activities that you would enjoy anyway. So even if things don't work out where this gentleman is an inappropriate match in the long term, at least you had a good time. Again, to join us for the Dating 101 Masterclass, all you have to do is click the link in the chat, the description, everywhere. Okay, good. So we have the non-negotiables, we have the questions. And again, if you are just joining, if you have a non-negotiable, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the chat and I can give you some questions. And then if you join us for the Dating 101 Masterclass, for the Q&A section, you can ask all those questions there. Okay, good. We have the non-negotiables, we have the questions. Now we need to get to the other side, which is the relationship. In a perfect world, ideally, what do you want your relationship to look like? If you're coming in late, I gave some examples earlier. I'll give a quick one right now. It means, what fruit do you want the relationship to bear? What is the ideal relationship for you? What does it look like? How do the two of you function together? That would be special. So one example would be, my husband and I are going to have a relationship where we can be our authentic selves. We create a safe space. We could be our authentic selves. Another example is, my husband and I are going to create generational wealth so our children don't have to get it out the mud. Whatever it looks like, you're going to create that statement. What do you want your relationship to look like? What's the fruit it's going to bear? How it's going to be special? How's it going to be like the best thing ever? Got it? Now you need to break that down into questions as well. So what do I mean by that? Take one of my relationship goals, which is the generational wealth, right? Number 1, hardworking man, right? So that goes back to one of my non-negotiables. But number 2, I need someone who is going to agree with me that I don't want my children to get it out the mud. I don't. I want to be able to buy my kid their first little rinky-dink car. I want to be able, with my husband, to be able to pay for my children. Oh, this is frozen. I hate this stupid thing. And I looked up how to take it off, and I don't know how to, like, you have to take it off before you go live, and I always forget. Okay, let me put my hands to myself. I want to make sure that we pay for my children, for our children, undergrad studies. They want to do grad school, that kind of extra stuff. We'll see about that. I don't want my students to have my children to have student loans when they are college students. I don't want them to have to work unless they want to. And I want them to. I don't want them to have to. There's a difference, right? And again, we don't know what level of support our children may need in the future. They may need tutoring. I need to be able to afford these things. I want them to be well-rounded. I want them to be in swim class and gymnastics and cheerleading and football and anything that they want to try. They want to be an equestrian. We're paying for it. They want to be a pianist. We're paying for it, right? And so that's one of my goals. And so if that's one of my goals, I need my husband to agree. If he's like, nah, I need my kids to be tough. You know what I'm saying? I need them to be able to figure out on their own. I need them to be able to get out the mud. That's an inappropriate match for me because that goes against my relationship goal. So I need to ask questions around his belief system when it comes to children and providing for them and what limitations do you put on that, right? Do you understand what I mean? So again, we are talking about how to vet appropriately when you are dating. You should be clear on what your non-negotiables are. You should be generating questions for each non-negotiable. You need to be clear on your number 1 relationship goal. You should be generating questions around that. And each time you talk, you only tackle one. Just one non-negotiable, just one part of your goal, because it should not be an interview. It should be an enjoyable experience with at least a seemingly like-minded person who is attractive, that you're going and having, spending quality time at an event or an activity that you like. How could that not be making dating fun again, right? So, beautiful people, I hope that this training was valuable to you. It's just a quick pop in. You're going to get the full gamut at the Dating 101 Masterclass, which is on Tuesday the 13th. All you have to do is click the link that I put in the chat. I'm going to put it in the description once this video is up. I'm going to put it in the comments, everything that you need. And all you have to do is invest an hour and a half with me, a whopping $57, so I can teach you everything you need to know about online and offline dating, so we can transform your love life so that you can have the partner that you've always desired, so you can have the companionship, so that you can have the support. This is what I do. Again, my name is Alison, certified dating and relationship coach, master's degree in mental health counseling, and I work with busy professional women to move them from overwhelmed, stressed, discouraged with dating to healthily and happily married. All right, folks, I will see you in the Dating 101 Masterclass. And Il says, as always, thank you, Alison. You are quite welcome. I hope to see you at the class. All right, folks, have a good one.